If you have multiple sclerosis or your life is affected in any way by MS, then this channel is for you. So please consider subscribing to be notified of future videos. My name's Liam, and in 2018, I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting MS. So in this video, I'm going to be covering what MS actually is. So if you've got MS, chances are you've got a fairly good understanding, but there might be something that you might pick up. If you're newly diagnosed, hopefully this will explain it perhaps a bit better. And likewise, if your life's affected by someone else that has MS, then this perhaps will give you a better understanding of what it actually is. Multiple sclerosis is a lifelong condition that affects the brain, the neck, the spinal cord, and affects your whole central nervous system. It can cause significant disability and is the biggest cause of disability in young people. Although with some of the progress that we've made in MS, such as disease-modifying treatments or DMTs, the disability can sometimes be quite mild. Multiple sclerosis is a condition that affects the brain, the neck, the spinal cord. It can cause a wide variety of different symptoms. No two cases seem to be the same. Everyone's experience with MS can be different. So if you know someone that is affected in a certain way, it doesn't mean that someone else you know is like for like. The condition can vary. Multiple sclerosis is a lifelong condition that affects the brain, the neck, the spinal cord, and your central nervous system. There's a huge variety of different symptoms that you can experience with MS, and it seems that no two cases are exactly the same. These conditions, or these symptoms rather, can vary from things like vision problems, pain and uncomfortable, unpleasant sensations across your hands, your legs, your feet, your arms, or it can affect any part of your body really, but these seem to be some of the more common ones. Mental health takes a real hit as well. Things like depression are quite prevalent within people that have MS. Most people with MS are diagnosed in their 20s, 30s, sometimes 40s, although it can happen at any age. It's also the biggest cause, or the most significant cause of disability within young people. For a very long time, life expectancy has been reduced within people in people that have MS, although this seems to be becoming slightly less of an issue. We're starting to reduce that reduction in life expectancy as we make progress with things like disease-modifying treatments, DMTs. The main symptoms, or the most common that we see, are things like fatigue, difficulty walking, vision problems, bladder problems, numbness or tingling in different parts of the body, muscle stiffness and spasms, problems with balance and coordination, and brain fog, or difficulty planning or organizing or concentrating. There are two main types of multiple sclerosis. So you have relapsing remitting or primary progressive. Relapsing and remitting MS affects roughly 80 to 90% of those that are diagnosed with MS. Relapsing remitting MS is where your body has periods where it attacks itself and you get worsening symptoms or new symptoms, and they can sort of gradually increase over a few days perhaps, and can last for days, weeks, months, even years in some cases. These attacks can occur without warning, can be completely random, although in many cases you can sort of associate that or link it back to a period of stress or if you've been unwell. These symptoms can completely disappear with or without treatment, but in a lot of cases, the symptoms can persist, or you can have numerous attacks of the same attack over a period of years. The period of time between these attacks is what's referred to as the remission. So you have your relapses, and then you go on to have a period of remission. After many years, usually decades, in a lot of cases, we see people with relapse and remitting MS go on to develop something called secondary progressive. About 2/3 of people with relapse and remitting MS go on to develop secondary progressive MS. And this is where your symptoms will gradually get worse over time. There's no noticeable period of relapse, although you can get new relapses, unfortunately, over that same time period as well. The other main type of MS is called primary progressive MS. So much like the secondary progressive MS, it's where when you go on to develop multiple sclerosis, you don't have those relapses and then periods of remittance. You have symptoms that just gradually get worse and worse over time. And then, as I said, you can go on to develop new symptoms or new relapses, which I think we still call them a relapse perhaps, or an attack. So you can pick up new symptoms, unfortunately, as you go along. So there are no noticeable periods of remission, although there have been, in some cases, you'll find some of the symptoms do stabilize sort of over time. So if you are newly diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, you're not alone. I appreciate that this is all completely overwhelming, but one thing I have learned since being diagnosed is there is a huge MS community, whether it be online or in person. There are support groups and things available. All this information, as I said, it's quite daunting, and it's important to understand that information. You need to sort of treat your MS with respect. A term that someone said to me recently who has MS was, I'm not battling MS, I'm negotiating. And I think that's quite a poignant way of describing it. And it's a case of, right, I'm going to try and work with it. I'm aware of this. I'm aware of the symptoms I have. I'm aware, or I'm learning what causes them and triggers them. Therefore, I'm going to try and work with that in order to have a really good quality of life. As I said, there's plenty of support available. Leave me a comment perhaps if you did find it a bit overwhelming. I'd love to sort of talk to you about it and see if there's anything that I can do to help. There's been a lot of development and progress in the MS world over the last sort of 10, 15 years, maybe longer. If you were diagnosed sort of, in the latter half of the last century, there was nothing that anyone could do, but we do have things like disease modifying treatments, which were initially only available for those that had relapsed and remitting MS. But now there have been a few treatments that are available for those that have progressive MS. And I think there's progress being made all the time. We are seeing more and more reports of things like myelin rejuvenation in mice and things like that. So what I mentioned at the beginning about that myelin sheath over your nerves, there has been some evidence of that repairing itself in mice and rats and things like that. So we are making progress, and I hope in my lifetime that there will be a cure for multiple sclerosis. I think we have to live in hope that that's correct and that's right and that's going to happen. I think if you have hope, faith, and a good community around you, then you're going to go from strength to strength. So if you are struggling or you feel isolated, please talk to somebody. You're not alone in this. Talk to your family, or if they're not being particularly helpful, which we do see in different people's MS, that the family can't really understand it and aren't really supportive. If they're not, try and reach out to some of your friends, colleagues. But as I mentioned earlier as well, the wider MS community is really welcoming. There's links on this page to some of the UK charities as well as the US National MS Society. But there's loads of different ones. There's new ones popping up all the time. There are face-to-face support groups within the MS Society that I've been to that were really great help, great support to see other people and how they were coping with MS. Gave me some strength and some belief that I'm going to be able to do this. And 4 years later, I'm really trying my best to understand this disease as much as I can and try to be as positive as I can. It doesn't happen every day. I have depression, as I'm sure a lot of you do as well. And unfortunately, some days the depression wins and it's a bad day, but I always strive to have a better day the next day. So please, like I said, if you don't feel like you've got anyone to talk to, drop me a comment here. I'd love to speak to you and see if there's anything I can do to help. Because as I said, you're not alone and you've got this. You are stronger than you believe. It's not a death sentence. It's something you can learn to work with, live with. It's not a pleasant thing to live with, but you can do it. There's a big support around you, so you're not by yourself. Please do not think that you're alone in this at all, because you are not. I hope you found that video useful. If you've got any feedback or anything that you think I could have added or something you'd like to see in a future video, do drop me a comment. As I said, if you enjoyed it, you can hit the like button to let me know, and subscribe if you want to check out some of the future videos, because I'm finding this already quite helpful to be able to talk about MS in general and my own experience. And if you'd like to join me on that journey, I would love to have you along for the ride. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll hope to see you again soon.